Hello everyone. On behalf of Thinknyx Technologies, I would like to welcome you all for a short video tutorial on how to use DockerLint. DockerLint is an initiative by Thinknyx Technologies so that everyone can validate the Dockerfile. Let's take a look at the agenda for today. First, let's understand what is Docker. Then we will let you know what is Thinknyx DockerLint. We will take a look at the demo on how to use DockerLint. We will also have a small introduction to Docker Hub. So let's understand what is Docker. Docker is a platform to build, ship and run containerized applications. But what are these containers? Containers are an isolated environment inside which our application will run. How do we create containers? Docker containers are created using an image. An image is just like a template. Docker gives us the provision to build images automatically using a Dockerfile. The format of Dockerfile is instruction followed by arguments. Dockerfile contains Docker-defined instructions and user-defined arguments. Let's now talk about Dockerfile instructions. We have totally 18 Docker-defined instructions, out of which maintainer instruction is deprecated now. Let's now talk about Dockerfile arguments. Let's see through an example. In from instruction, the argument is just 1. For copy, the arguments are 2, while CMD can have 3 different forms. As already mentioned, Docker is a platform to build, ship and run applications. With Dockerfile, we can build images. Optionally, we can ship these images. We can use image registry to do so. We can ship either in a public or a private registry. If we want to use public registry, Docker Hub could be an excellent choice. We run containers using these images. The best part about Docker is that we build once and run anywhere. Let's now talk about our Thinknyx DockerLint. While writing instructions and arguments in Dockerfile, there could be some syntax errors in it. It becomes difficult to analyze where exactly the syntax has gone wrong. DockerLint comes to our rescue here. DockerLint has a user-friendly UI with which we can identify the syntax issues in our file easily and efficiently. DockerLint has 2 levels. One is validations, the other is the best practices. DockerLint validates the instructions and arguments, while the best practices and methods are helpful in building the efficient images. Let's now take a look at the demo on how to use Thinknyx DockerLint. First, go to dockerlint.thinknyx.com and enter your email ID and the Dockerfile content that needs to be validated. Please note that these 2 fields are mandatory, without which you cannot proceed further. And also you will have to provide a valid email ID. Before I enter the Dockerfile content, let me first go to Docker Hub. Docker Hub is Docker's official cloud-based registry. With Docker Hub, we can find and share container images. So go to hub.docker.com and search for Ubuntu. Ubuntu is Docker's official image. Let's select this. If we could scroll down, we could see the supported tags. Say, for example, we see 18.04. We have 22.04, which is the latest version. So I'm going to use 22.04 in my example here. So I'm using Ubuntu with the latest version 22.04. I'm adding a user called as Thinknyx, and I'm using that user Thinknyx. I'm disabling the health check, and I'm using the command instruction for executing bin/bash. So if I click on submit, I see that there are no validation errors and I'm following all the best practices. I will now demonstrate some of the common errors and how DockerLint helps us in validating it. The from instruction should be the first instruction and a mandatory instruction. If I do not provide this, then there will be a validation result. So I see that the line number is being displayed with the instruction and the description. It says the first line of instruction should be either from or argument. And it also gives us the suggestion on how to use the instruction with its respective arguments. Now, if I do not provide the argument, the from should have one and only one argument. If I do not provide this argument, then again there will be a description mentioning that from should have an argument. Let's come to the command instruction. If I do not provide the closing square brackets, it says that the command should have a properly enclosed argument. Similarly, if I miss to provide the quotes, there will be a description saying that make sure to open or close the quotations properly. Let's now understand how DockerLint suggests the best practices. So it's always a best practice to associate with the tag. If I do not provide a tag or provide the latest over here instead of providing the tag name, DockerLint suggests not to use the latest tag. It says latest tag has been used. Instead, use the tag name. Say, for example, if I can go back, I can use 18.04. You see now that the best practices have been followed. Similarly, you can go to Docker Hub, choose any image of your choice. And validate like this. If we could scroll down, we could see all the information regarding our Thinknyx. Thank you. Thank you for watching our tutorial. We really hope you liked our video. Please do like and subscribe and click on the link below to know more about Thinknyx. We also offer a broad range of trainings. Please click on the top right corner to know more about it. Thank you.